Vixen, you're an owner of a shared ownership property. When did you decide that you'd had enough of renting?
So my situation is I was in a relationship when we broke up.
Mm-hmm.
My options were basically go into private renting or move back with my parents. I didn't really like those options.
No.
So that's when I started looking at shared ownership.
Okay. So how did you find you sounds like you knew about it before. How much did you know about it?
I knew quite a lot because my brother has actually done the same thing. So when shared ownership was originally launched, he was one of the first people to actually do it.
Right.
So I kind of knew quite a bit about it before I actually took it.
And your parents knew about it as well. So that's, people get a lot of support from their parents.
Yes, yeah.
So your brother blazed the trail. I hear so much from people like yourselves that had a contact that had already done the process. How did you find it? I mean, it's a bit to get your head around, isn't it? Not owning all the property, paying rent, paying a mortgage.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've done quite a lot of research behind it, and obviously I spoke to my brother quite a lot. I think if you actually look at the background of it and how it works, then it kind of makes a bit more sense, and you understand a bit of like what's involved.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I did. I watched videos everywhere. I read articles online like constantly. I spoke to people that had done it in the past, and I didn't see anything wrong with it. I just thought, like, why am I not doing it?
Yes, sounds like that was your only option.
Yeah.
The option is, as an adult man, to go home and live with your parents or get back on the rental machine. It's a bit depressing, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Well, I applaud the fact that you did your own research and didn't just rely on your brother. How did you find the process? How long did it take, for example?
So the process from start to finish, it took exactly a year. And that was only because I bought a new build property that wasn't built yet. So it was off plan. And there was a lot of delays because of COVID and stuff. So the majority of the waiting was because it was affected by
You're a victim of circumstance, really. And you've got to wait for it to be built, haven't you?
Exactly, yeah. So that's why I didn't move in.
Were you kind of gleefully impatient? You just wanted in once you'd made that decision?
Yeah. So once all my paperwork was done, everything was approved, it was all signed, I was just itching to move in. And it got delayed 3 times. So originally it was going to be moving in end of summer, then it was midwinter, then it was before the new year, and then eventually it just ended up being like in April.
And all that time you're paying rent and paying rent?
Yeah. So, and I had a storage unit because I bought a bed, a sofa. I was really prepared to just move in, and I was just itching to get into the property.
Yeah, I bet you were. Were you surprised with what you could afford compared to? I mean, you probably didn't even look on the open market for a straightforward property because you couldn't afford that.
I did look on the open market, even though I couldn't afford, just to see what was out there and stuff, and the kind of properties that are out there and sizes and stuff. But I was amazed at what the property that I actually got, and the fact that it's a new build. I'm the first person actually moving in.
Yeah,
it's just such a good feeling, just to be the first person there.
You can't really describe it to someone, that sense of excitement, pride, opportunity. It's just awesome. Yeah. Getting the keys and walking through the door, it's just like you never forget it, do you?
That feeling of you just finished work and it's your first time going home, that was like the best feeling ever.
Oh, great, good for you.
So it was absolutely amazing.
And that should be inspirational for a lot of people, because there's so many people that are desperate to get on the ladder. I mean, you're still quite young to be a property owner, but you're a property owner. It must be hugely rewarding.
Yeah. And I think if I could give myself advice, is do it sooner. And I'm really surprised like how easy it was, and the process, like how quick it was to do as well. Because in my early years, I feel like I spent a lot of money just traveling around and just on silly things, when I could have been saving to do this. So I feel like I should have done it a lot sooner.
Being able to live within the London area is amazing at your age, isn't it, really? And own your own property.
I mean, I looked at private renting, and the prices of private renting in London is absolutely ridiculous. It's crazy. And that's what I didn't want to do. I didn't want to just splash the money that I had saved on renting a house for a year, and then I've got nothing at the end of it.
Did you look at the comparison to renting privately and your overheads of owning the shared ownership property, and what are they?
With all my bills included, doing shared ownership, I would still end up paying more private renting.
Really?
Yeah.
But you're paying off a debt and building up equity in a property,
something back,
and it's cheaper to do that.
It's cheaper to do that.
It's a no-brainer then, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Can I ask you specifically about the property you've bought? First of all, what is it?
So it's a 1-bedroom property.
So you've got your own one-bedroom flat, not sharing with anyone.
Not sharing with anyone.
You've got your own space.
Yeah.
And how much of it did you buy?
35%.
35%.
Yeah.
Already you own 35% of Southeast property.
Yeah.
That's incredible, isn't it? And do you plan to maybe get more of it, like buying staircasing?
I do plan on staircasing. I want to get to at least maybe 50%.
Yeah.
And then see what happens there and how my life changes, and see if I can maybe go to another property.
What I like about shared ownership is it gives young people and old people as well, but especially young people for me, it gives people the opportunity to first of all get the keys and get their own place. But the excitement doesn't stop. You've got the opportunity to get more of it,
To keep going.
You just get all this exciting opportunity much earlier on, don't you?
Yeah. I think looking at all the options out there, this was the only option for me, and this was the only option that I could afford, and it just made sense.
Yeah.
It was just really, really good.
Well, I think your story's inspirational, and what you've got is way ahead of anything else that's in the market. You were faced with a really, really tough choice, and then you discovered shared ownership. So good for you, and all the best for the future.
Thank you very much.